Ghosts, ghouls, phantoms of the night. Ridiculous, isn't it? When I recently recorded the Ghost Hunt series, I'd heard all manner of tales about ghosts and the supernatural. I visited 6 supposedly haunted places. I talked for hours to a score or more believers in the supernatural. But where was the proof that such things existed? As I said to Terry Whitaker, Lancashire's top expert on ghosts, I won't believe until I see. He said, "All right, if that's how you feel, spend a few hours late at night at the most haunted house in Britain." I confidently took up this challenge. The result, this programme, and as you'll hear, my conversion from sceptic to believer. If you've got just half an hour, why not join us on the Ghost Hunt at Chingle Hall? Chingle Hall, supposedly the most haunted house in Britain, was built in 1260. It was the birthplace of the Catholic martyr St. John Wall, who was executed in 1679 for his beliefs. But Chingle is perhaps more famous for the inexplicable happenings that have taken place there. The regular sightings of 2 ghostly monks, the loud footsteps on the stairs, the knocking sounds on the haunted corridor, the sudden drop in temperature, and the levitation of objects in the house, and lots more. Terry Whitaker and I went along the other night to this old manor house outside Goosnargh near Preston. Armed to the teeth we were with tape recorders, microphones, and an array of recording equipment, as well as a fun box of electronic tricks, which Terry Whitaker called the Spectre Detector.
This is a little electronic gadget that's been devised for me by a colleague of mine who's an electronics wizard, and the theory is that when anything is about to happen, there will be some electric change in the atmosphere or electric charge in the atmosphere which will alter the tone of the machine. Whether it is just a gimmick or whether it will actually work, we're going to find out tonight. I've never actually used it properly or put to its fullest advantage yet. I believe it does work, but you know I'm as sceptical about this as you are about ghosts.
So it's a little wooden box, a couple of control knobs on the top, and it's got a speaker on the front, a small little
speaker inside, which I can turn it on, you can hear. Once that settles down, anything in the atmosphere will be picked up by these plates at the front, as you can see when I touch them. Now it should alter, if anything is going to happen, once it settles down, it should alter its tone, and then we either get out or stay and watch.
The irony of Terry's last words will soon become obvious. We'd arrived at the hall at about 9 o'clock. We walked over the narrow stone bridge by the lily pond and crossed the moat which leads to the house. We were met there by Fred Knowles, a lifelong friend of the hall, who led us to the 2 most haunted rooms. Upstairs in the hall, on the east wing to be precise, there's a priest's room, small, with 2 exposed priest hides. In times of Catholic persecution, the priests hid their vestments and concealed themselves within the hides in order to escape the searching troops. Well, we set up our equipment here, and then Terry led me along a dimly lit, creaking corridor to explore the other room that we'd been given access to, the haunted bedroom.
A number of people have slept in this room who've actually seen the figure of a monk, both coming through the door, peering in through this window behind me. Blue flashing lights have been seen bouncing across this wall, rather like lightning that would strike and bounce. That's been seen quite often in here.
Let's describe this room, because it really is a charming bedroom. It's, 15 foot maybe by 11, something in those regions. It's got a beamed ceiling, a lovely creaky wooden floor, small little door coming into it, and a 4-poster bed without the canopy, just the bottom half, and rather nicely draped in a red velvet, with lovely prints on the wall, lots of bits of china, and this lovely little window, lovely, I've used that word already a couple of times, but it is the right word to use, I think, which looks out over the grounds of Chingle Hall, and on this particular occasion, a full moon outside, which makes the whole thing mighty spooky, but very pleasant indeed. And below us we can see the grounds and the little bridge that crosses over the moat that used to surround Chingle Hall. I wonder whether the reflection of the moon onto the lily pond could be the blue lights on the wall. A possible explanation?
No, because it's happened in broad daylight too, when parties of visitors have been going around.
Right, well that's that theory out the window for a start. It was in the haunted bedroom that we were joined by a guest on the ghost hunt, Colin Church. Now, Colin is a spiritualist. He had visited Chingle Hall before and told me that he'd been aware of the presence of the spirits. Did that make him some sort of a medium, I asked him.
I'm more of a sensitive rather than a medium. I feel, sense and see more than have direct communication from spirit. I say spirit because that is the main object of a medium. He has contact from the other side.
Let's talk about ghosts, because this is a ghost hunt after all.
Yeah.
What's your stance on ghosts? What do you believe?
On my belief on ghosts are spirits who are trapped in a house because they have never been told that they can progress onwards. And they come to try and help people. But when they're wandering around, they're just looking because that's where they used to go all the time they were here. Now, if somebody who lived here and always lived here and never left the house, when they died, they wouldn't realise, and they would just still keep walking around until somebody tells them that they can progress further and go into spirit further.
So the three of us were there chatting away. Then suddenly our first experience of the supernatural forces of Chingle Hall. The room temperature went cool, then chilly, then positively cold. Ice-cool Colin Church.
It isn't actually cold in here. You're feeling what you could call a psychic breeze. You only get it occasionally, and at the moment I'm feeling very on edge because I can't understand. There's someone wandering around here. I can't actually see them, but I know there's somebody wandering around because I can feel them.
It has gone incredibly cold in this room.
It has, yeah.
Like in the last 15 seconds.
Yeah.
That is incredible. I don't know about you, Colin. This is the first time in like 7 weeks I've actually felt sort of chills down the back of my spine. What about you, Terry? Do you feel anything?
Well, I agree with you. I can feel the cold. In fact, some of my hands they're quite cold. And it's here. It's situated around here.
Now that's around the window. Now that's got to be cold anyway because it's a moonlit night. It could be frosty tonight.
But it's an interesting fact that this is where the apparition has been seen looking out. He's also been seen looking in, and I must admit, when he's seen looking in, he doesn't look very friendly either. He's been seen in this area here, coming through the door behind you, which leads to this area. So in actual fact, we're probably stood in the area where if anything is going to happen, this is where it will happen.
That is incredible, I think. Absolutely incredible.
It's pity we didn't bring a thermometer with us, Gerald. I meant to bring one.
But you wouldn't have noticed a change in the thermometer. It was something you would have just known was...
Well, we would have known whether it was a definite change in the room temperature or whether it was a change in the atmosphere. And we didn't have the spectre detector with us.
Terry, what we're going to do, for the listener at home's benefit, is we're going to be blatantly honest. The tape's running out. Terry hasn't got a spectre detector. We're slightly unprepared for this. We're going to set that straight right away. Yeah, we were caught on the hop. But in a few seconds, Terry had brought through the spectre detector from the priest's room, and I'd loaded some more tape onto the tape recorder. Right, so I think we're back in business. I've got some more tape on my machine. Terry's got the spectre detector. Terry, do you want to switch it on? Let's see what's happened. But I think we've missed the moment, because for me it's got a lot warmer again.
It's gone back, but, hopefully there'll be another moment. Not necessarily here, maybe in there, but we'll try it.
Let's turn it on anyway.
Just give it time to settle down.
The spectre detector is installed in front of the window. Our one gimmick, I think, tonight. We'll concede that, perhaps. We've got the microphone in the corner. We've got Colin, Terry, and myself. Let's talk about this incredible drop in temperature that we just experienced. I wonder, looking always for the logical explanation, whether it was a sort of psychological thing, because it was nice, scary, it's cold in here, it's a full moon outside. It's got all the ingredients of a real ghost story. And I think it just sort of shivers and possibly psyche things between us.
No, not really. It was already here when I walked in the room. I felt it. I went cold straight away, so I knew it was in here straight away. And it was just having to wait for you to feel it as well.
It's very doubtful if my hands would go cold because you're feeling cold. Speaking personally, I went cold. The legs and my hands went cold. See, they're nearly back to normal now.
It's pretty cold, I think.
Yeah, well,
but I mean, it is cold in here.
It's a foolish room, but there was a definite drop. We sort of all felt it at the same time, dropping, and we felt it at the same time, sort of coming back up again, which is a normal phenomenon. When perhaps if we'd have been sat in here in the dark or sat in here nice and quiet, we may have experienced something else. I don't know. The fact that we're stood around talking with all these electronic gadgets might be frightening him off.
Well, this particular ghost, if that's what it was, he didn't scare quite so easily. 2 minutes later, down went the temperature yet again, slowly, degree by degree.
It's getting slightly colder, but this time, instead of coming from the feet upwards, it's dropping from the ceiling downwards.
That's right. It's my nose. Yes. It's my nose that's cold.
That's right.
I was picking that up, you see, but I have to wait for you. You see, you're the sceptic in the party, so therefore we've got to wait for you to say, well, I've got this, you see. And so therefore we can then say, well, that's right, because we've got it as well.
You've got a change in the thing already.
You've got a change in it, you see.
Isn't that incredible? Terry's now holding it by the window where we've had it. You've heard it buzzing in the background. When you bring it over to the roof, just sort of above where I was standing.
A distinct change.
No, that's not the microphone, because we've tried this before, we've tested it. There is a distinct change somewhere right above me.
It's as if whatever it is stood
right in between us.
Yeah. Whoever it is stood right here.
And you would be looking out the window, you see. You're in the right position for looking straight out of the window.
Or happening wants an interview by Radio Blackburn. It's quite incredible, really, because we eliminated all the electrical gadgets that we've got with us. All we have in here are the 2 microphones. That was nowhere near. In fact, it won't. This microphone won't affect it because it's working off a battery anyway. So all I did was move it from the window a matter of 3 feet, and we got that change. Now again, I think I'm right in saying that the temperature's going slightly up again.
Yeah, very slight.
The time was 11 o'clock. That drop in temperature, could it have been faked? Well, we checked the room for anything suspicious and found nothing. Well, we thought it was about time to return to the priest's room to check out all our equipment. There we were joined by Fred Knowles, a lifelong friend of Chingle Hall. Fred had come upstairs to see how we were getting on. Well, we all swapped tales of ghostly things, and Fred began to tell us of an attempt that he'd once made to reveal a skeleton which he believed to be buried somewhere underneath Chingle. While he was telling his story, the supernatural forces interrupted, as you can hear if you listen very carefully.
Not a core sample thing. So we managed to get the tip of this crowbar very firmly held by something deep under the house. Now, we tried with every means at our disposal to reclaim that bar, and we could not. We had to have expert help to get the bar back. Actually, that was not me, it was something else. And exceedingly glad gentleman that intervened, it was the ghost.
It's gone chilly as well.
Yeah, they've been in here for about 10 minutes.
Now Fred, let me just put people in the picture here. Well, Fred is leaning up against a chest of drawers, And I thought you were kicking it with your foot. I mean, I'm not saying that you were. I mean, that was the sound. That was the sound that I thought I heard there.
Yes, quite reasonable. Carry on.
What was it?
It was the ghost knocking. It knocked 3 times. Shall we try if it will do it again? Shall I speak to it? In the name of Jesus Christ, I, your friend, ask you to knock again. 3 times. I shall now knock 3 times to you. I'm sorry, we'll have to carry on talking. It will do it again. It doesn't like you to concentrate your attention upon it. If you were to concentrate heavily upon it, it would probably decide not to do any more. Where was I? I think I had the crowbar.
Hold on, Fred, hold on. That is the first time I've heard a ghost. This merits some sort of special attention. Can you just come away, just for the time being, Fred, just for the time being. What could it have been knocking underneath here if it wasn't a ghost? Colin, you said it's been here 10 minutes.
That's right, yeah.
Tell me more.
I've been feeling cold and apprehensive for about 10 minutes, all the time. And I was just waiting for you to feel it as well, you see, like you did in the other room. I was waiting for you to feel the cold as well. So I could feel them in here and walking around. It's just that they had to make themselves known. And they did by knocking 3 times for you. You're the one that's the sceptic, you see.
And it did. It did knock. I don't know, it knocked twice, I thought, but 3 times was it? Sorry.
Oh, there's no doubt about it there. That was definitely something knocking from inside that priest's hide. Without any doubt whatsoever.
It was definitely the ghost doing it, yes. It wasn't us. None of us knocking. You had the ghost then.
Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing.
It could be possible you will hear more yet.
Phew, at long last. Even though I didn't see the ghost, I had now experienced at least the sound of the supernatural. The time, 11:20. Fred Knowles was so used to these experiences that he wanted to return downstairs to catch the end of a film on television. Would you believe it? A thriller? While he was away, Colin Church, spiritualist, sensitive, call him what you will, he told us of a theory he had about Fred Knowles.
You will notice that the knockings only started when Fred was with us, which would indicate that all physical phenomena happens around Fred. He's the focal point. That's why he is here, as you might say. He probably wonders why he's always been at Chingle Hall. Well, that's the reason. He is the focal point, or the vehicle that's being used by the spirits to let everybody know that they're here.
So in a way you're saying that Fred was destined, fated to come here?
Well, not destined, fated. It's just one of his pathways in life. He had to come here. He's always had to be here because he is the link between the priests and us. But we won't hear so much knocking now that Fred has left us. Now, if it should happen when he's not here, then that's my theory gone down the drain. See? So hopefully, I don't want it to happen. But on your... but
thank you very much, Colin.
It's just that if Fred should come up here again, the chances of it happening again are very strong.
Well, we'd soon be able to test out that theory. The time was now midnight. Already we had experienced more in the time that we'd been at Chingle Hall than most people do in a lifetime. I asked Terry Whitaker, as an expert, how did Chingle Hall compare with other haunted places that he'd visited?
Normally, in my experience, when you go out to look for something like this, nothing ever happens. It's always the same thing. Nothing ever, as we've proved on the ghost hunting in recent weeks. Tonight, fortunately, we were able to put this right. Something definitely happened. There were with enough witnesses who are here to prove this. I'm just looking forward now to something really happening. You know, let's go out with a bang. Let something really exciting happen.
Terry was not to be disappointed. What you're about to hear is the climax of an evening none of us present will ever forget. The time was 8 minutes before midnight. Fred Knowles had joined us once again, and the ghost hunters were all together in the priest's room. Terry was explaining to Fred of a new phenomenon that he'd just experienced while sitting in the corner of the priest's room. I want you to listen very carefully to the last few minutes of the ghost hunt, and then maybe you will be as convinced as I am that ghosts really do exist.
Yeah, well, it just felt, as I was sitting there, as if somebody was walking over the boards. You know how the boards spring when somebody's walking over? As if somebody's walking in between the three of us, actually.
New? Is that a new experience?
Well, we have been on the corridor outside, the haunted corridor, and we have heard the floorboards creaking gently. Someone obviously unseen is moving towards us, and you feel the floorboards move slightly under your feet. You don't feel afraid, you just feel while it's passing just a very cold sensation. Did you feel cold, Terry?
Yeah, slightly, yes. I've had this same experience, actually, in the old house at Whalley Abbey, where I actually heard them and felt the presence. Yeah, I felt cold, didn't feel disturbed in any way. Mainly with the bottoms of my feet, bottoms of my legs were cold, I think.
We may wonder why we all suddenly went quiet there. Nothing's wrong with your radio. Decided to get ghost again. In the corner. 3 knocks yet again.
Rather
very cold.
Knocking from the room next door.
Could be. We've noticed how thin the walls are, haven't we?
Also, I could feel it through the floorboards as well. You could feel it while I was standing by this.
There it goes again.
Yeah.
Slightly different position this time.
Yeah, they've moved. But as I said before, about Fred, you see, it proved my point.
You're right.
All right. Do you want to explain to Fred what I'd said?
And that was another bang.
From the other room.
On the corridor, I think.
On the there it goes again.
It's because we're talking about them that they've stopped, you see. I know we can hear them.
But yet it sounds, if he wants us to know that we're there,
Yeah,
at the same time,
he does,
rather like a child.
There it goes again. Quiet.
yeah.
We're moving through. It's freezing. Absolutely freezing. How many times did we hear the knocking?
Oh, half a dozen times.
Half a dozen times. I just hope that this microphone's picked it up. We're bringing this microphone through from the priest's room. Absolutely incredible experience. Probably something that doesn't happen too often. The moonlight disappeared. Turned the light on. And the microphone leads got stuck on something. Yeah. Okay. What we're going to do, Terry, I'd like you to hold the microphone. We're going to do a little bit of jiggery pokery. Just get you holding the mic. That's fine. Under the mic. Just come through.
It's just gone past there.
Yeah, he's just gone past. You missed him, Jerry. Well, he's just went past.
Just walked past us.
That's incredible.
He's gone into the room.
This I do not believe.
There is an ancient doorway.
What did you see? I want to know. Terry and Colin just said he's gone past. I want to know what happened.
Well, I didn't see anything until I sort of felt, again, the footsteps underneath. And then looking over there, I just caught an indefinable shape going round the back of the door. Without any... Was you...
Yeah, well, I couldn't see through the door, but I was standing just by the doorway, and I could feel the cold air changing as somebody was walking by and the walls moving.
There was an incredible shape just around the side of the door. I can best describe it as saying rather like the shape that they claim to have at the Paddy and British Legion.
Just a grey mist.
Yeah.
Fred? Fred's still back in the other room. We've got to see this. We've just got to go through and see this. What I'm going to do, I'm going to put this microphone down. Hopefully we're going to get picked up on the other one. Now, let's just see. That's me. Back into the bedroom. Picking up the microphone that we have left through here. Hopefully everything's going to be okay if I use this. Excuse the bangs and crunches there as I remove the handle.
Feel the temperature now.
Yes.
Distinct drop in temperature now. Coming now.
Yeah. It's icy cold.
I don't feel it.
It's on there.
Okay, I'm going to move by the window. I don't feel it. I feel absolutely scared out of my mind. I mean, you know.
The drop in the temperature here, there's no doubt about that. And when I saw it, it was just going around there as if it was walking around the side of the door. Again, to the corner where the knocking was coming from, really.
I missed it. I blew my chance.
About there, just in the wall of the corridor. And sometimes you hear feet on the corridor, then almost immediately you hear knocking by the priest hole in there. It's obviously using a door which it knew in life, you see. It's the only possible explanation.
Terry, we've got to come back to this ghost, or this something that you saw.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. I saw something. I felt it rather at first rather than saw it. It came out of the footsteps, or the feeling, the vibration of the footsteps came out of the priest's room between myself and the wall, along the passageway. For no reason at all, I looked over towards the door. Alan says, there it is, it's just gone through. And I looked through the door, and it was just part of the shape, as if like Fred is now. That much of him being seen from outside.
That's really incredible. Yeah. Colin, you're looking around almost as nervously as I'm. Colin, what are you feeling?
Nice, pleasant feeling. And it seems wrong for some reason. I feel as if I should be feeling frightened, and I don't. I feel nice and comfortable and relaxed, but I'm on it. But I feel on edge at the same time. It's very difficult to explain. I feel nice about the room and everything else, but as I came in, I knew that he was in here. Then I felt on edge, but nice on edge, if you understand what I mean.
Sort of in a apprehension.
Yeah,
yes.
In an apprehension. Yeah, put it that way.
Well, the time is just coming up to midnight in 5 seconds' time. And that's midnight. This is Chingle Hall, the most haunted place in Britain. I know you lot at home, you think Maine is having you on and playing tricks with sound effects, records and things. No way. What you heard tonight was straight. I was a skeptic, but there comes a time when you've got to say, there is something else. And Chingle Hall is certainly something else.
The Christmas Day edition of The Ghost Hunt featured the phantoms of Chingle Hall. The ghost hunters were Terry Whitaker and Colin Church. The programme was presented and produced by Gerald Main, who'd like to acknowledge the assistance given to him in the making of the programme by Anne Strickland and Fred Knowles from Chingle Hall.